Hey everyone, welcome to Ian and Friends Giro d'Italia edition. I am FloBikes Senior Editor Ian Dilley.
And I am Michael Sheehan, Ian's friend. Today we are going to talk about stage 14 of the Giro, the Zoncolan.
The Zoncolan.
Yes.
So good.
It did not disappoint. Oh my God. If you have not watched it, just like stop right now, go to FloBikes.com and just watch this final climb of the stage. It was incredible. To set the scene, we had fans lining the course, like some of the most ridiculous displays of enthusiasm we've seen on the roadside in a bike race.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this climb all week. 10 kilometers long, section 5 kilometers in the middle of the climb that averages 15%. It's one of the most iconic climbs in the world. And yeah, like you said, the fans came out in full force. The natural stadium, as they call it, at the top of the climb, this treeless amphitheater, just thousands of people up there, and
a man running with a taxidermy fox. There's another man with a bushel of bananas trying to hand it out to the leaders.
Yes, a dinosaur that tried to accost Chris Froome, and he just gently shoved the dinosaur away.
That was a fantastic display of restraint by Chris Froome. If you're wearing a costume that takes up a third of the road, don't run in it next to the riders. But yeah, Chris Froome restrained himself, gave him a polite push out of the way.
Yeah, I mean,
the show went on.
All the elements were there for the best stage of the Giro, probably one of the best bike races we've seen this year. And then the racers totally delivered and just put on an insane show.
Yeah, they did not disappoint. We saw the resurgence of Team Sky today.
Yeah, Wout Powell's went to the front. Well, let's back up because poor Mike Woods had recon this stage the day after Liège, obviously had it circled. I think maybe he attacked a little bit early, kind of right as the pitch picked up at 2K into the climb. He launched, and I don't think he knew that Sky was going to do their Sky move and, put the guy who gets 7th in the stage on the front and just break everyone over the coals. Wout Poels pulled up until 4K to go and was just killing everybody.
Tip of the hat to Mike Woods. For a bigger, muscly rider, he just loves these steep grades. And like Ian said, we saw the steep grades at the start, and he attacked. And Wout Poels, just like, poor Woods. Woods was just kept at like 5 meters for probably over 5 minutes, and Wout Poels just destroyed the field, setting Chris Froome up for what we've essentially become used to seeing from Team Sky in years past at the Tour.
Yeah, by the time Woods came back, there was, maybe 6-7 riders. Carapaz had gotten dropped. Miguel Angel Lopez and Pozzovivo were still in the group. Dumoulin was just yo-yoing back and forth. Aru was out the back. I mean, some of the best climbers in the world had just succumbed to the Sky forces. Yeah,
I think that Aru was a big casualty for today. We were kind of iffy on his ambitions for the Giro after some of the other climbs we've had this Tour, and today just ended it. Davide Formolo also lost a lot of time. George Bennett finished back about 2 minutes, and the young rider Richard Carapaz, he is no longer the young rider. Good for me, my pick has come. My pick is coming true for the young rider. Miguel Angel Lopez rode a fantastic race to move himself over Richard Carapaz in the young rider competition.
Yeah, but let's get to the Froome attack. With 4K to go on this climb. Classic, seated, 120 RPM. God knows what gear he had on his bicycle, but he seemed to have 2 gears higher than everybody else.
Yeah, reports were that he was going to run a 34-32. Of course, these riders, for some reason, keep this information very close to their chest, so nobody can actually know, but it was just the classic Chris Froome attack that we're so used to. Wout Poels just ripped it, rode an insane tempo, and then Chris Froome took over, not actually attacking, but just spinning up the legs until they were at like 130 RPM and nobody could hold his wheel.
Yeah, and 4K on this climb is a long ways. I mean, it looked like they were riding through mud. Like, it was so steep that, when Froome attacked, there was still 20 minutes left in this climb. And it was interesting that Yates, he distanced Yates when he attacked, and then Yates and Pozzovivo, Miguel Angel Lopez, were all sort of riding together. Yates was it was interesting that he let Froome have that gap, or maybe just couldn't go with him, because he looked so comfortable pulling to the side and sort of just eyeing everybody. I thought he was just going to punish everyone.
Yates looked to be completely in control. Ian and I kind of disagree on this. I think that today was a win for Yates. He did not react to Froome attacking. Instead, he was just smart, cagey. He let Miguel Angel Lopez and Domenico Pozzovivo kind of tire themselves out trying to chase Chris Froome. And then when they tired, Yates essentially just got out of the saddle and dispatched to them pretty darn easily. And towards the end, it was just a nail-biter finish of Simon Yates pursuing Chris Froome all the way to the line. He made a really, really big push with about 3K to go, but just could not quite close the gap.
Yeah, like literally within maybe 4 seconds, it looked like he was just going to run Chris Froome down and go right past him. From what we've seen of Yates so far at this Giro, that's exactly what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. And they go through these series of tunnels right at the top. Yates is in the big ring, closing on Chris Froome on, the flat section of the climb. It's only 7% grade. And I assumed when they came out of the tunnel, Yates was going to be in front of Froome with a gap. But, man, Chris Froome dug so deep to win this stage. It was super impressive. He was obviously motivated by much more than just winning the stage or gaining back time. It looked like it was personal to him.
Absolutely. I have to agree with that. He has been through the ringer leading up to this Giro. In the press, he has his whole salbutamol case. For a rider, he's playing it really well, but I think that it's probably wreaking havoc on his mentality. And then he started crashing in the Giro. He just is not really in the GC fight like he had hoped to be. And to just take out a really, really big decisive win on top of the Zoncolan, you could just see in his face when he crossed the line how important that was to him. This is the happiest I've seen Chris Froome since he was on the podium on the Champs-Élysées last year in Paris.
Yeah, and you might disagree with me. Yates did have a great day, but Chris Froome is back. He is back in this race. Sure, he's...
Hold up. No, hold up. No, he's not.
Let's do the math. If he takes 2 minutes in the time trial and then he continues to take 15, 20 seconds, there's still 3 summit finishes left in this race.
Yates gave him a head start today and finished, 4 seconds back on him?
But
8 seconds back?
Let's look at the mental games, because this is a chink in Yates' armor. Up until this point, he has been more or less unbeatable, and I think, Froome was the first person, honestly, that has attacked Yates. In the past, it's just been Yates riding away from everybody else.
And he's also the furthest away on GC also, so he has the ability to attack without an immediate response.
But he's still Chris Froome.
But Yates he's 3 minutes and 10 seconds down.
Well, we'll see if Yates lets him go off the road again. I don't think Yates is going to let him go off the road again.
He's going to be on a shorter lease for sure at this point.
Yeah.
He's in the top 5 right now.
Yeah.
Podium, I'd say definitely very, very attainable. To see him win this Giro, and again, we, here at FloBikes, we're very competitive. We picked our jersey winners at the start of the tour, and Chris Froome is my pink jersey. So I want him to win.
Well,
I don't see it.
Let's talk about my pick, Tom Dumoulin, because he had a phenomenal ride. Whether he can still, basically he did not lose the Giro today. He could still potentially win this bike race. If he takes a minute or half or more out of Yates in the TT and then continues to stay within 30 seconds or so on these climbs, who knows? And Yates could crack. You never know.
Yeah.
And Dumoulin and Froome seem to be getting stronger. So this third week of the Giro is going to be insanely decisive.
Yeah, just on Dumoulin, I stand by what I said yesterday. I think that he has nailed his preparation and is exactly as good as he expected to be in the Giro. And we've just seen him mature as a GC rider over the last few years. He never got out of the saddle, never made a big effort to respond to these attacks. He just rode his own race all the way up the climb. And again, these finishes, he just has to limit his losses, and he's doing a brilliant job of it.
I mean, obviously suffering though.
Yeah.
I mean, he did not look good. I mean, with basically when Froome attacked, his form went to crap, and he was bobbing up and down on the bike for somebody who's normally so smooth. Not an ounce of wasted effort. I mean, he was doing everything he could to stay.
You know what impressed me? He distanced Thibaut Pinot at the finish.
Yeah, no, that is super impressive.
Like,
Pinot's quite a climber.
He rode a good race.
Yeah.
The last week is going to be very decisive for Tom Dumoulin, but he is looking very, very fearsome.
Yeah, little plug, go to FloBikes, check out the stage. It's worth the subscription fee. But sign up for an annual $12 a month. Plus, you'll get Milan San Remo and Flanders next year, Tour of Lombardy, GP Montreal and Quebec, tons of awesome racing. And tomorrow's stage at the Giro d'Italia, not to mention, is sort of your pick for one of the surprise stages, one that, you know, looks somewhat innocuous, but could have a big effect on the overall.
Yeah, this is the stage that I definitely circled at the start of the tour when I was going through the road book. It is not a summit finish as defined by the Giro d'Italia, despite the fact that it actually does finish on an uphill, uncategorized ramp. But there's a really, really quick succession of Category 2 climbs leading into, this little uphill finish. And I think that if there's anyone who is feeling good after the Zoncolan, they can do some serious damage running into the finish. There are going to be some tight little descents, lots of places to just get separation if you have legs.
Yeah, these Category 2 climbs, they're cool because it really depends on how hard they race them. It's not necessarily the climb that's going to make the race. I mean, these climbs are certainly hard enough to drop the contenders in this race. I mean, we're talking about 8 kilometers climbs, 10% plus gradient. This part of the Alps that they're in is just really steep, short pitches and really difficult climbing. So it's going to be an interesting stage. And then the finish too isn't even categorized, but it's an uphill finish, 6% for almost 5K, and then flattens out the last K to the line. So, I mean, Yates could attack. I could see an attack from Dumoulin. There's still some team dynamics in play. We see that Astana still has Bilbao in the top 10. Ben O'Connor from Didata is not too far back. So, there could be a play where some of the guys who are just outside of the top 10 in GC go up the road early.
Yeah, tomorrow could really play out any number of ways. Could be one for the breakaway, and just, any GC rider who has a little bit of sting in their legs could take advantage of some other tired riders after today.
Yeah. Tune in tomorrow, stage 15 of the Giro. We'll see you then.
Thanks for joining.